Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right, my name is Matt. Hello, what's up? Buffy. Last time on Buffy, we got a really cool robot girl. We had a storyline about feeling this unfiltered sense of wanting to love and wanting to be loved, and it was represented through this robot girl who that's all she could do, that's all she could possibly do, which actually made her very human. I love the type of character, it's great. Joyce died, or she's gonna die this episode, I don't know. Spike is also making robot Buffy, maybe, I don't. This show is getting off the rails. Like season 5, it has been, I feel like season 5 got me when we started going into this Joyce has brain cancer storyline. I started to feel this sense of dread, this pit in my stomach, and I think you can actually see that in those videos. Ever since that ended, I feel like the show took a break from that, but I myself continue to feel like something's gonna happen nearing the end of the season that's just gonna fuck me up. And it seems like here we are. So, let's watch this fucking episode. There's no way this episode isn't like big or important. After that ending, no, this one is alright. So let's just jump and watch it, I guess. Patreon, check out the Patreon link in the description below. Pop up on screen. You can support the channel. You can watch early Buffy episodes. You can watch Angel watch-alongs and also full-length Buffy videos. And I mentioned that because I just got a comment from someone who didn't know that was something that was available on the Patreon, despite being a member of the Patreon for like 2 months. They just didn't realize that they could watch full-length Buffy videos. So maybe I don't say that enough. You can watch full-length Buffy videos over at the Patreon. So yeah. Support the channel, that's great. All right, let's start. Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 5 episode 16. Let's go. Oh, we just opened with this.
Hey, Mom.
As we should. Kind of an important thing. Something I didn't notice is that this shot you can just see Joyce dead in the background, or like whatever state she's in. That's really creepy.
Mommy?
All right. Right into the intro. Okay. I don't know if we've ever had an episode that didn't have a recap. No recap, just right into it. There's zero chance that this episode isn't super important. It was already like 95%. I was like 100. Joyce is fucking cooked. She's dead. I've never seen a deader person in my life.
I think we're just about ready for pie.
And then I'll be pretty much ready for barf.
Xander!
Gross.
Yes, everything was delicious.
I don't want to look at the
I'm
bottom.
going to barf too.
I wonder what this is. A memory? A dream?
I think I got one with rum in it. That's bad.
Yeah, now Santa's gonna pass you right by, naughty booze hound.
You know, it's Cajun pie.
I wonder if this is just a depressing memory or a depressing dream.
I lived to torment you. Is that so wrong?
A daughter's duty, I suppose.
Look, all we have to do is just cut off a little bit of the burn. Mom!
That is...
Mom!
Okay. That is such a fun directorial choice. Everything about this scene.
911 emergency.
Hello? It's my mom. She's not breathing.
Is she conscious?
No, I can't. She's not breathing.
Do you know how to administer CPR?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, cover her mouth with yours and breathe into her mouth. To ventilation.
I know this.
Then follow.
I know this. God, I can do this. I can do this. Oh, God. Are you there? I broke something.
Is she breathing?
No, she's cold. No, my mom.
I love that. The body? No, my mom.
Best thing is to wait for the paramedics, okay?
When will they be here?
They're very nearby. When the paramedics arrive.
I have to make a call.
Hello,
Jess, you have to come.
Buffy?
She's at the house.
This episode feels so... a lot of things feel weird about it. It feels surreal,
Getting no pulse. Let's lay her out.
which is fun because this is what it should be.
I found her a few minutes.
I'm bagging her.
What?
We're gonna intubate. Just trying to get her to breathe, all right?
This your mother?
Yes.
Do you have any serious physical health problems?
There was a tumor, a brain tumor, but she had an operation and she's fine now. And she's been fine.
We got her.
My God, we got
Let's
it.
get her on the truck now. Call it in ahead.
Never brought one back this late.
I'm here.
It's a miracle. That's what it is, a beautiful miracle.
Good as new.
Buffy,
This
thank
is
God
all
you
in her
found
head.
it.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying how this episode feels surreal. Just how she feels. Everything feels surreal.
Call it. I'm sorry.
What do we do now? I mean, what?
I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that your mother's dead. It looks like she did die a good while before you found her. There's nothing you could have done. I'm gonna call it in. The coroner's office will come by and take her in, and they'll determine the cause of death conclusively.
I love these camera shots.
We're moving. Okay, we gotta fly.
All right. Now, the coroner's office may take a while. In the meanwhile, I think you should sit, have a glass of water, and try not to disturb the body.
The body.
Do you need anything? Is there someone you can call?
Someone's coming.
I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I love how the face of the paramedic wasn't even in frame.
Good luck.
Because she's not also that. Like, things are just happening to her and she's not having any time to process anything. The blurry vision, the not even focusing on his head, doesn't even see his face, just there's a paramedic in front of me telling me she's dead. Good luck. Like, that's just what you say. She's not processing anything. Everything is just passing and flying in front of her. This is great. It's fucking depressing. What if this entire episode was just this? We're just sitting here watching her go through it, like in real time. She also, for a second, when she's here, does she know that Glory's here, or is that just something that she thought, and in her panic she just called Giles and said that? But there's no reason for that to be the case. She's just going through a million things in her head.
Buffy. What is it? Is it Glory?
I'm waiting. The coroner's coming.
What?
I have to tell Dawn. She's at school. I'll go there.
I'm not sure.
No, don't. No, it's too late.
Joyce?
They're coming for her. No,
Joyce?
we're not supposed to move the body.
She said it. I love that. I love how it didn't sink in until that moment.
God. I can't believe it. It's not that bad.
Is this over something that's happening in school?
Called me a freak in front of everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Dawn, you're about to have a horrible fucking day. It's already a bad day for her. It's about to be the worst day of her fucking life. And she just found out she's not real like a couple episodes ago.
You know it was Kirsty. She was telling people how you were into cutting yourself and how
That's
you were weird.
such a lie.
She was telling people that you were adopted.
What a primo biatch.
How you doing? You okay? Good. Thanks for asking.
Art class.
We're drawing the negative space around the object. You just draw the
Hey.
figure.
Hey, Kevin.
So I heard you had a freak out and cut yourself.
No, not even. It was it was so
I
not.
felt like that before. Things get so crazed, you know? You just feel like you want to do something extreme.
Yeah.
Is he just getting information out of her so they can bully her harder, or...
And I'm like, whatever.
She's so superficial. Everything's always about. She had this book called Annals of History, and
I can't believe that Buffy herself came to get done. I guess it has to be a family member.
I have to talk to you.
can't wait. I'm in the middle of class.
Anna, please come with me.
I thought Mom was picking me up.
Let's go outside.
No, tell me what's going on.
It's bad news.
Where's Mom?
Mom had an accident. Or, something went
Everyone's
wrong
just
from the
watching.
tumor.
But she's okay. But it's serious. But
The use of silence in this episode is incredible. Negative space. The absence of something.
I think they're here.
Do you want to come up?
You're double parked.
Let him give me a ticket.
Yeah,
What do you
it's
think?
one of those days.
The purple, right? Cause it's somber? No, it's too depressing. It's like I'm a funeral guy. Well, this is cheerier. Maybe I want to be cheery, like everything is normal. No, that's rude. It's disrespectful. La la la. I don't care. If I had that blue one, Joyce really liked the blue one. She told me one time the purple. I think the purple.
I'm really enjoying this episode. It's just
It doesn't mean something bad.
it's just so depressing and also realistic.
I have to be supportive. Buffy needs me to be supportive. Shh, darling. Can't do this.
I love that it's like you just have to be there for her. You're overthinking it, but how can she not? This is so much.
you can be strong.
Okay. I wish I had the blue.
But what will we do?
Yeah,
What will we be expected to do?
I don't fucking know.
Hey. How you doing? I know the feeling.
I'm afraid I'm gonna start to cry again.
Sandra cried at the apartment. It was weird.
Yeah, it's a thing we do.
I love the awkwardness. Everyone's just holding
going to
themselves.
I guess we're gonna meet them at the morgue.
Giles said that he was gonna go with Joyce, and Buffy was gonna go to the school to tell Dawn.
God.
I have to change.
What else did Giles say?
Not a lot.
Are they sure this was natural? I mean, Glory.
Giles is pretty sure that it wasn't her.
But, I mean, she said she was going to come after Buffy's family.
I don't
I mean, we should be going after her. I mean, she could have done it and covered her tracks.
Why would she? She'd want us to know.
That's true.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the frickin' doctors. I mean, they just let her out, you know? Clean bill of health. Dig a hole in your skull. Here's a Band-Aid. Next!
Xander.
We don't have enough monsters in this town. The doctor's got to help them out. Somebody
has to be at fault.
Okay,
I have to be able to
let's go.
direct my emotions to something in order for them to make sense.
You know I can't take you.
Damn straight.
Are we gonna see the body?
What?
Are we gonna be in the room with the dead body?
I don't know.
I love how the normal becomes
Are they gonna cut
not
the body
normal.
open? Oh my God! Would you just stop talking? Just shut your mouth, please.
What am I doing?
How can you act like that?
Am I supposed to be changing my clothes a lot? I mean, is that the helpful thing to do?
Guys.
The way you behave.
Well, nobody will tell me.
Yeah, she doesn't
It's
know
not
what.
okay for you to be asking these
But
things.
she doesn't know
I
that.
don't understand.
Yes.
I don't understand how this all happens. How we go through this. I mean, I knew her, and then there's just a body. And I don't understand why she just can't get back in it and not be dead anymore. It's stupid. It's mortal and stupid. and Xander's crying and not talking, and I was having fruit punch, and I thought, well, Joyce will never have any more fruit punch, ever, and she'll never have eggs, or yawn, or brush her hair, not ever, and no one will explain to me why.
Like, I noticed that. Like, she's asking all these weird questions, but, like, she's legitimately asking the question. She doesn't know what's gonna happen or what to do. Everyone's just going through it.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Some pent up.
Xander.
I appear to be stuck.
My God.
Did I miss something?
Xander decided that he blames the wall.
Can you turn your wrist?
Hold on.
Oh.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Band-aids?
Underneath. We should get there.
Yes.
I want to be there for Buffy.
Again, I love how this feels normal and not normal at the same time.
We'll deal. We'll help. That's what we do. We help Buffy.
Usually whenever we're watching any scene in the show, it's like tells us something about the plot that needs to move forward. This episode is entirely just characters doing shit in their normal life, but they are freaking out over what just happened. The ticket, yeah. Have we seen this guy before? Is it the same guy that told Buffy that we did the operation and it was a success or whatever? I don't know what to expect from this episode. This episode is an outlier.
If there's anything we can do.
Glad you're here.
Love you so much.
I know. They're not telling us anything.
I like that.
Doctor? Okay, I've examined your mother's body.
Can we see her?
Dawn, not now.
Your mother did have what looks like an aneurysm. A sudden hemorrhaging from a ruptured arterial vessel near where the tumor was removed. Joyce was aware of the possibility of a rupture and the effects.
Kind of comes with
She
the
didn't even get on
territory.
the phone, so clearly this was very sudden. She may have felt a little nausea and probably passed out as it happened. I doubt there was much pain, and even if someone had been by her side,
My head. Mom.
it's doubtful that this could have been dealt with in time.
I love that. She's thinking about the possibility of what could have been, as he says that there's nothing that could have been done.
That there wasn't a lot of pain?
Absolutely. I have to lie to make you feel better.
That's so good.
Figure out which ones you need to see.
We'll be here.
I'm so glad Giles is Buffy's new dad. Like, I'm so glad that he's
Nothing.
just filling in the role.
You know, it's what we thought. A tumor.
He didn't say that.
I don't think we're gonna have to be here very long.
What about...
What about what?
Seeing her.
I have to pee.
Do you want someone to go with you?
No. I still remember how to pee.
How'd you take it?
Meltdown.
Yeah.
She just wouldn't believe me.
She hasn't seen the body yet. Like, it's
I
not...
wish that Joyce didn't die. Because she was nice. And now we all hurt.
She's
Anya,
trying.
ever the wordsmith.
It's intention that counts.
Do you want anything? Something to eat or soda?
Like, the situation of Dawn is that she hasn't even seen her. We're just telling her she died or whatever, but like, it hasn't become real to her yet. In the same way that for Buffy it took a while for it to become real. Dawn hasn't even seen the body, so... Oh, we're left with Tara. Hi.
Everybody wants to help. I don't even know if I'm here. I don't know what's going on. I've never done this. That's just an amazingly dumb thing to say. Obviously, I've never done this before.
I have. My mother died when I was 17.
I didn't know.
I'm only telling you this because there's things, thoughts and reactions I had that I couldn't understand or even try to explain to anyone else. I know it's different for you because it's always different, but if you ever need...
Was it sudden? Your mother?
No. And yes, it's always sudden.
That's such a good answer. It wasn't, but it was. I'll lock the door too. Sure. Is it even the right body? Do you want to see? Of course, we live in Sunnydale.
Anything you want.
The sandwiches are meat. I'm just not hungry.
What about Donnie?
She's still in the bathroom?
I guess. You guys wait here.
Oh, this camera angle. Yep, that reveals her. Decapitate. We don't have a stake, so.
Dawn.
Is she cold?
It's not her.
It's the body.
She's gone.
Where'd she go?
Good fucking question. Alright. That's my episode. That's my episode. What a good episode. Love that episode. Love that episode. It made me fucking sad, but like, I knew that going in. I mean, it's kind of funny that last week I said, like, I don't think she's dead, but she's gonna die this episode. No, she was already dead when she found the body, actually. Which is interesting because that was like one of the main points. It's like she was already dead. There's nothing you could have done, and Buffy kept thinking like maybe I could have done something. I love Tara's input on that, which was, you know, you start having all these thoughts. You start feeling things and thinking things that you couldn't possibly explain because nobody could possibly understand. And it's just like, yeah. I don't know if you remember how last week I said maybe the reason why we got that very clear, like, final goodbye scene before she got her surgery, even though she then survived. Maybe the reason why we got that scene was because we were never gonna get a real goodbye scene. I was right on that. So I'm also thinking about, like, you know how, like, I don't fucking know, like 10 episodes ago, I saw Tara hold out a tarot card and it was the Tower. And I said, all right, are we doing the Tower this season? I kind of feel like we're at the Tower. I feel like we just flipped the Tower card right here. Which, again, just to reiterate on myself, it's when all goes bad, everything is destroyed and we have to kind of start over. That's kind of the Tower. And I feel like the death of Joyce, of your parent, is definitely a point where your life is, you have before that point and after that point. Especially Buffy being like an only daughter. Sorry, not especially Buffy that only has one parent, kind of the opposite of what I said, because her dad just fucking fucked off or whatever. Like, I'm not counting on him to show up and do anything, but like I feel like the show after this point becomes very different. Definitely the rest of the season becomes very different. Maybe the rest of the show, I don't know if the entire show is just gonna functionally change much, but the season for sure. I don't think there's a way we go back to just having goofy, silly episodic adventures this season after this episode. This episode felt like Restless to me, like the ending season 4, because Restless, there were actually many elements of Restless that came into this episode, and I think that they were amazing. I think that the episodes, whenever they experiment a little bit with what you actually are doing with the structure of the episode, how you're handling direction and what is being presented through the medium, those are, I think, definitely the best episodes of the show. We had Restless, we had Shush, and now we have this. These are all episodes that feel like they're messing with the medium, and they are conveying different things. Restless was kind of a fever dream that everyone was going through, and we kind of have a vague character analysis we can grasp from what's going on in their minds as they're traveling through the dream that is Restless. But this episode was grabbing a lot of elements of that, and instead it was implementing them in showing you what is Buffy's mental state. Especially, I mean, specifically during the scenes where Buffy was in. The entire beginning sequence of the episode, I don't know how long it was. It was like the first 10 minutes or something. Let me look. Yeah, it's like the first 12 minutes. Like, I love that those first 12 minutes, and then later when they were at the hospital, what they do is that essentially they convey to you what is Buffy's mental state in incredibly, I mean, some not so subtle, but some very subtle ways. Like, for example, whenever the paramedic walks into frame to talk to her, first of all, she seemed blurry, and it wasn't until he got close that she could see him clearly, which is, it's kind of like you're not focusing on what's happening around you. Everything just feels like a haze until he's in front of you and directly talking to you, and even then you're not looking at his face. She's not registering his face. She's just registering what's in front of her, which is just this paramedic uniform talking to me, and it's just like telling me all these things. And then they go like, okay, we gotta go, there's another thing we gotta take care of. And then she goes like, okay, good luck. And then she just walks off. She vomits. She goes outside. She just kind of stares outside at nothing. She comes back in and she's like, right, I vomited. I need to put like a thing on it in order to clean it up. And then Giles comes in and he's hurrying up. He's running in. He's worried because Buffy just said something very worrying, which again, the reason why Buffy said like she's here is because, well, I don't know what the fuck Buffy was thinking, because again, it's something that it's almost impossible to actually know exactly what state of mind you could be in that situation. But maybe Buffy thought, oh, she got assassinated by Glory or whatever. So she had a moment where she was like, oh, Glory's here, and that's what she meant by she's here. Or maybe she's actually referring to Joyce, but she's not able to say the words, so all she mustered to say was she's here, and Giles, I need you here, which is incredibly vague, but maybe that's all she could get out in that moment. She's not technically lying, she's just saying things. And that's kind of what the entire state that Buffy's in during that sequence, that's why it's so great, is because she's just kind of doing things. Because, like, have you ever been in a situation where you have been so emotional or shaken to some degree that your body's just kind of operating on autopilot? That's kind of what Buffy was doing. Like, I like those very minor things, like she wishes the paramedics good luck, because that's what you're supposed to say when somebody is like, oh, I have to go do my job or whatever, and you have to be polite and just reply in a polite manner. And that's what Buffy does. But she doesn't mean that. She's just saying what you're supposed to say. Like, her brain is running on autopilot. Like, for example, when she goes and vomits, she goes outside, stares into nothing, and then she comes back and starts cleaning the vomit on the floor. Her brain is just like, you have to clean up the mess. And it's like, okay, I'll go do that. When Giles comes in and Giles is worried, and Buffy, I don't remember what she says. I want to get a specific of what she says. I'm waiting, the coroner's coming, which is, they told her like, the coroner's coming, I made the call, you have to wait here. And then Giles comes in, and that's all that Buffy can say. And it's just like, she's just saying what her task right now is. Like, this is what my brain has decided, this is what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna do it. And then Giles comes in, he sees the dead body, he hurries over to try and do CPR or something, and then Buffy's like, no, you can't, we're not supposed to touch the body. And it's this thing where, like, her brain is defaulting to all of the steps that it was told to her what you have to do, but it hasn't fully sunk in yet, because her brain has defaulted to just do the task in order to not think about it, as like a coping mechanism. And it wasn't until the moment where she said the body, which is, again, it's so great, because earlier when she was in the phone with the 9/11 lady, the lady said, is the body cold or something like that, and Buffy said, no, my mom, or no, she's cold. I don't remember exactly, but essentially it's like the lady in the phone is already accepting that it's a body because she's cold. and therefore already a body, but Buffy hasn't accepted it yet. She's still treating her like a person, like a human. It's like, no, it's my mom. And it wasn't until later when she said we're not supposed to touch the body that she like said it. And when she said it, it like finally clicked into her head. And that's when she broke down crying. And that's when Giles was there for her and just kind of hugged her. That entire sequence is like 12 minutes. It's just Buffy in her house. And it's just going through the process of realization, and I love that it's all in real time too. Like, I don't think there is like cuts from one place to the other, but there's no cuts in time. I don't think. I think that people just show up. She comes in, she freaks out, she makes a call. We get to see how the camera like frantically like follows her. We have a scene where it happens very at the beginning of the episode where it's just, I think it's just a memory of everyone just hanging out at a dinner. Maybe it's a memory, or maybe it's just like a wish of what could have been. I don't know, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is just a depressing either memory or just so like a wish, a dream. And then it hard cuts to Joyce's dead face, and it's such a good cut. It's such a strong directorial choice. I like shots where like you just cut into the impact. And the contrast of it is what's so perfect. A specific scene in like Doctor Who episode World Enough and Time, I think it was. I love a specific scene from there that does that. Hard cut from like a memory into just death, and it's just it's really affecting. And you get to see how again, that I think that is a memory, or could have been a wish. But I think it's a memory of like, you're seeing your mom's dead body and immediately it flashes into your mind like all these things of like good times and all of the normal moments. And then you focus on reality and what is right in front of you. Then she just runs in, tries to do something. She goes to the phone, she makes calls. I like that she started asking for what can I do? And it's immediately apparent that Buffy's going into like I have to do something mode, which is something Buffy has done before, where it feels like Buffy doesn't really have much of a like I feel like Buffy kind of dissociates a little bit whenever she has to come to terms with something, and she goes into like, okay, I'm going to get moving, I have to do something. And in order to not process the reality of the situation, it's kind of like being in denial a little bit, just like I have to do a thing. But it's really just a coping mechanism not to think about it. And I like that she asked the 9/11 lady instructions, and the lady started giving instructions and she heard them, and then she was like, okay. And immediately she dropped the phone, stopped listening. You could hear that she was still talking on the phone, and Buffy just ran in and started doing something. It didn't matter. And then it was about the body being cold. And I love that the title of the episode is The Body. Like, I'm looking at it. I love that because it made me latch onto it, and it's like, it's perfect because like, I love that interaction of like, she's cold, the body's cold. No, my mom. It's like they're talking about the same thing, but in Buffy's mind, it hasn't really sunk in yet. And later, while we're in this topic, later, whenever she's talking to the doctor and the doctor is telling her like what happened, or like telling her about the situation, I love that there is a moment here where, I mean, the subtitles kind of, I don't know if they detracted or added a little to the scene, but the subtitles that I'm using, there was a moment where she asked the doctor, did she feel any pain? And the doctor said, I doubt that she felt any pain. And then you hear his voice just dubbed over him, and he said, I'm just gonna lie to her to make her feel better. And the subtitle said, in Buffy's head, in parentheses, and then the line. And I love that concept. I don't know if the subtitles telling me added or detracted to it, but I feel like I probably could have pierce that together just from like the context of what's happening, because every scene with Buffy feels surreal in a way that it feels great, because it's like, it doesn't make much, like, how do I say it doesn't make much sense from like what's happening to what's happening. It feels a little jarring, it feels a little bit like a dream, but that's exactly what the situation should feel like. And everything about the directorial choices felt like you are in Buffy's shoes right now, and they're doing what they could possibly do best in order to tell you what it's like to be in Buffy's shoes. Like, what is that feeling of realizing and dealing with it, and everything that she's thinking about, which is why I love that Tara says, like, when that happened to me, there's a lot of things that I felt and a lot of things that I said and thought, and I couldn't explain that to anyone because it wouldn't make sense. It's just something that is so specific. But then she said, like, they were all things that came to my head and were very irrational. Like, it wasn't real, but it was just her brain just going berserk. Thoughts that made me feel like I was losing it, or like I was some kind of horrible person, you know, like you couldn't do enough or things like that. And I love that then Buffy asked, was it sudden? And then Tara said no and yes, it's always sudden. I love that because it's the idea of like even if you had someone, if you had your family member like dying over time, like it's some kind of like terminal disease, and you know you're just watching them and you know for a fact they're gonna die in like 6 months or something like that, I'm sure it matters a little, but it doesn't really matter when the time comes. Like one day you wake up and the other person doesn't, and at that moment it's sudden. Like it's always sudden. It's going to be sudden no matter what, because in one moment someone is there and they are everything, and in the next one they are not. And I love that comparison that Tara told us there. It's like it doesn't matter exactly how they go. What matters is the fact that they went. What matters is the fact that they're not here anymore. It is sudden in that sense. Let me talk about the rest of the gang here, because we spend, how long did we spend with the gang? With like Willow and Tara and Sander and Anya. We spent like 10-11 minutes. And I love that because we got to see how Willow, Sander, and Anya are feeling and how they're kind of dealing with it. Not so much Tara, but then Tara had a moment with Buffy later, so I guess it kind of works out. But I love that because we get to see how Willow is freaking out over what she can do for Buffy, because she cares too much. And of course she cares. She's Willow and she's Buffy's best friend, so of course she has to care. But even then, like, it was someone that she knew and now she's not here anymore. Like, of course, she's still gonna feel very distraught over it. But she's focusing on the fact that, like, she has to do a good job. She has to be there for Buffy because, she wants to be a good friend. But you can tell how her feelings, how sad she is, makes her so that she keeps focusing on that, even though it doesn't really matter. Like, she keeps talking about, like, what she's gonna wear, if it's proper or not. And, like, it doesn't matter, girl. It doesn't. Like, you just have to be there for your friend. But Willow is just spiraling out of control. She just keeps talking about, like, no, like, I have to do it right. Like, what, like, she's completely lost in her thoughts. And Tara just kind of tries to ground her, but Talos doesn't know how to maneuver that situation, because also, what can you say? But Willow just keeps spiraling until Sander gets here. And at first, okay, what happens is that Anya keeps asking Sander questions while they're even walking here. I don't remember what she asked, but it was like, you know, like what we're gonna do, or like what do we say in the situation, something like that. And then Sander just didn't say anything. Yeah, Anya asked Sander, what would we do? And then Sander just stays silent, and they just walked in to see Willow and Tara. And I love that because that comes later, because you can tell that nobody feels right here. It's starting from when Sander gets here and Anya's like, you double park, and it's like, let them give me a ticket, I don't care. And it's like, yeah, you're at that point where it's like, I can't be bothered right now. But then you get to see, well, Anya said at one moment, like, Sander was crying back home. So we didn't get to see that happening, but we get confirmation that that's something that did happen. But more so than that, we still get to see Sander kind of breaking away, because like a couple minutes later, Sander starts freaking out, and it's like, you know, Glory did it. She came in here and she murdered her, and then they told her probably know what happened, and then she goes like, you know what was the doctors, you know, like all those doctors, they tell you like, you know, we took care of the job, and then we did everything right, and you know, we take your money, and then nothing happens, the person dies anyway, you know, all these doctors just being evil and bad guys. And then everyone just kind of has to calm him down, and it's just like, dude, shit just happens sometimes. Some people just die. And I love that because like Sander was trying to point fingers at something, because like people have different reactions that they can have as a weird coping mechanism. Sander was having this reaction where he's trying to place the blame on something, because if he can place the blame on something, then it makes sense. He has to make it make sense, and he has to find something to direct his emotions towards. Eventually he ends up choosing a wall. I've been there, it happens. Sometimes the wall takes the brunt of your emotions. Whenever nothing else makes sense, it's like, fuck, sure, has to be the wall. Poor wall. But yeah, like again, it's rational. He's just trying to find something to grasp onto in order to make it make sense. And I love that we get to see how both of them are spiraling in different ways. And then we goes to Anya, where Anya keeps asking all these weird questions. She's like, where are we gonna see the body? Which is a weird question to ask, but they are they don't really tell her much about it. And then she goes like, are they gonna open up the body? And then at that point, everyone is like, what the fuck? Or like Willow is like, what the fuck? What are you saying? That's just such a weird fucking thing to say. But like, I'm listening to Anya, and I completely understand that. But again, I really empathize with characters like Anya. You know, very autistic coded. But characters like Anya, she's just not used to being human. She doesn't have the like social decorum or understanding for a lot of these things. So Anya's asking all of these questions because she wants to know what is normal and how should she act in this situation, because she cares. If she didn't care, she would just do whatever fucking bullshit and wouldn't ask any questions. She would just say them. But the fact that she is asking questions is because she wants to know the answer, because she wants to know what is the right thing to do here. Because she understands that this is a delicate social situation, and she cares about her friends and how she acts around them and what she can do in order to make it better. So in this situation, she's generally asking all these questions because she needs to make it make sense in her head in order for them to her act correctly. But nobody's giving her answers. And I love that, because we get to see that when she's asking questions to Sandra, and Sandra's just completely quiet. He's silent. He's not saying anything because he's also going through it in a different way, but he's also going through it. But Anya's asking questions out of like genuine, like, I'm trying to understand what is happening and what we should do. And it's not until they challenge her on it and they just tell her like, what are you saying, that she breaks, and she's like, I need to know, and nobody's telling me. Like, one moment she's here and then it's not, and it doesn't make sense. And it's like, yeah, Anya's going through a lot as well, and nobody's there for her. And Anya is arguably the character that needs the most like hand holding in order to just navigate any social situation. And she's genuinely asking because she needs to understand, she needs to know, because she cares about how she's gonna do it. Like later in the episode, she has a moment where she goes like, I really wish Joyce didn't die. And it sounds so weird and off-putting, but you understand that it's coming from a place of genuine, I'm expressing my feelings here. I know it sounds weird and off-putting, but this is me being genuine right now. And I love that about Anya, and I love that everybody just kind of understands that, and they go like, thank you. Anya's just trying her best, and I love that about her. And I love that we get to see how all three of them go to do that, and it's all coming from different places. But and something I mentioned while I was watching it is that one of my favorite elements of that scene is that, well, first of all, it was like moving in real time, like the Buffy scene, but also it was a lot of the normal being made not normal due to the circumstance that is just unnatural of someone just died. Like Willow freaking out over what she's going to wear. You can argue that that's just a normal scene, but like when you're going outside and it's like, oh, I'm talking to my girlfriend, what should I wear today? Whatever. That's quote unquote normal. Going to the laundry to try and figure out if it's there or not. Or like everyone's just kind of sitting there until, you know, Sandra breaks the tension by punching a wall. Like this entire sequence, like, because, okay, and this is what I was trying to say, is that watching this show most of the time, it feels like we're watching, because it's episodic and it has to like move forward the plot somewhat. It feels like any scene that we get with these characters usually has some kind of new information being revealed that like moves along the scene into a different scene. This like 11-minute scene didn't move forward shit because there's nothing to move forward to right now. Everything that is happening in the scene is characters reacting to the situation, and that's it. There's nothing else about that scene. There's no new revelations, there's no new information, nothing moves forward. We're not propelling any further scene from this one. It's just we get to see the cast, and they're all just dealing with it in some way that is personal to them, and they're trying to, you know, like Sandra getting the ticket, right? Like doing the I don't know what it's called, second parking, whatever. English is not my native language, but again, like he's doing that and then he gets the ticket at the end, and it's all these like normal things in society, but they're all operating it in a mind state that is not fit for it, because everyone is just spiraling right now. And I love that. I love that because like that's how it is, right? Like if someone in your life dies, you still have to get up and walk and do whatever, and there's like a lot of like paperwork, a lot of things have to happen, and it's this like weird mix this of like the most like traumatic event in your life is happening right now, and also life around you continues to move around you, and you can't move. You're just stuck in that place. You're rooted there. But everything is moving and everyone keeps talking and you're just like, I can't. Which is why, again, like what Buffy was seeing whenever we were on her scene at the beginning of the episode, like she's seeing blurry. She's not processing what's happening. Everything is just moving and happening and she's just there. And that's how everyone is feeling on some level, which is why I love the dynamic of life, but like you can't move alongside it. It's moving around you. I love that. And I love that about that's what I meant when I said it's like it's normal in a situation that's not normal. Right? Like everyone is continuing to worry and think about things that should be normal in a context that isn't. And that contrast is so interesting. And then let's talk about Dawn. Dawn had a horrible everyone did, but Dawn was already crying, and in a somewhat like, this is like the probably the Buffiest scene, which is, it's not a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode if they are not showing you something that then is revealed to not be the thing. We gotta shock you by doing like a switch, and it's like, haha, it's something different, and that's like, it's like a little fun, and that's something Buffy does a lot. So we get to see the scene with Dawn crying, and it's just like slowly going just panning out from her as we find out her classmate says like it's not that bad. And when I heard that, I was like, how could you say that? And then I go like, wait, I don't think this is about Joyce dying. This is something different. And that's precisely what it was. Dawn has a crush on a random guy from her class, and they're spreading rumors about Dawn being, one, adopted, and two, suicidal. I love whenever I can just say this is what the episode is about, and then 2 episodes later they go like, yeah, that was what the episode was about. Actually, this is what Dawn is as a character conceptually. But yeah, anyway, Dawn is dealing through that, and I'm like, oh, this day is gonna be rough on poor Donnie here. And we get to see how she goes to our class, and I wonder if there is something else about the painting that I'm not thinking about, because like the end of this shot focus on the painting for a second, and I don't know if that means beyond what I thought about, which is the absence of space is something that is not there, right? It's just like around you there's nothing. So it's the idea that maybe the absence of space is Joyce was here and now she's not, Hi. An extra thing I wanted to mention here that I was thinking about it as I heard myself mention it is the idea of the negative space used in the artwork for this episode. I was thinking, well, maybe what it actually represents, because what it actually is, if I think about it, is negative space is using what's around an object in order to tell what the object actually is, which I like, because maybe what we're saying then is you can tell what's missing just by the outline of it, by everything that's around it. You can actually make up what is supposed to be there, which isn't. So by the usage of negative space, we can actually see what's missing, which is Joyce. And this entire episode is that. It's everyone reacting in different ways to Joyce's death. And we can see that there is a big Joyce-shaped hole in the show now, based on the negative space we painted around it, which was this entire episode. Everyone's feelings and thoughts and reactions, and now we can see what Joyce being missing, what that feels like. Because now that we can see everyone's feelings, despite Joyce not being in the episode, you can see that everybody is painting this Joyce shape permeated throughout the episode, even if she isn't here. So maybe that's what we're saying with the artwork. Sorry, that's just something I wanted to add, because I was listening to it and I was like, I need to say words. Okay. That's gonna be it. Let's go back to this very depressing discussion, which is also what I mentioned earlier. Kind of goes in the same venue of, I love the use of silence in this episode. It was a very silent episode, but that's precisely what it should be. The absence of noise really enhances the feeling of like, I'm not here right now. The things are moving. I'm not here right now, dude. I am in here and I don't even know where that is. Things are moving. I'm in a car. People are talking. I don't know what any of that is. I'm not registering anything. But Dawn, she's talking to this boy. She has like bully problems with one of the popular girls. I'm not sure if this boy was someone that was also in on it, trying to make fun of her, or if this is another boy that is, has some kind of pain issues that he identifies a little bit in Dawn, and as a result he kind of is cool with Dawn. Dawn's friend held up in the painting was like, he's into you or whatever. Like, that could be the case, I don't know. But then we get to see how everybody, the bullies, the class, the boy, the friend, the teacher, everyone is here seeing Dawn receive the news that Joyce is dead, and just has a complete meltdown, falls to her knees, starts crying and screaming that it's not true and that Buffy's lying, while Buffy's just there for her. And everyone is just staring. And it's so, like, I really hope that at that point everyone just feels so bad that everybody's just nice to Dawn after this. I mean, maybe it's gonna be weird for Dawn. Everyone is acting me like I'm weird because now my mom died. But like, I just don't want them to be mean to her anymore. Like, knowing that she was getting bullied by this like popular girls or whatever, it's like, I hope that that's not the case anymore. I hope that they feel bad. Yeah, I don't know. Then Dawn goes to the hospital, and she just sneaks in and tries to see Joyce's body. I love that now that we have spent more time with Dawn starts to really come through as a character who she's kind of mischievous. Honestly, she kind of just goes and does whatever bullshit if she feels like she has to or she wants to, and this situation is absolutely one of the situations. I mean, both situations actually where she did this. When she escaped to try and find out what they were hiding from her a couple episodes ago, which was her own existence, but in this episode finding out that Joyce is dead, like, those both make sense for Dawn to just freak out over and just go and trying to find answers. So I don't blame her for it. But yeah, she goes, and I love that she has to see Joyce's body in order for it to be real to her. Because she hasn't done that yet. That's when she was like, "You're lying, like that's not true." And at one point when they're talking to the doctor, she's like, "Can we see her?" And Buffy's like, "Dawn, not now." And it's this thing of like, I don't blame Buffy for not realizing this, because Buffy's also going through a very intense day, and also this is a lot of awareness to put on like a 20-year-old girl who's going through the worst day of her life. But yeah, in this situation, I'm thinking like Dawn is going through this moment of, I mean, we can only speculate, but I'm thinking Dawn is going through this instance of, I will believe it when I see it. In a way, maybe it's not that she doesn't fully believe it, but it's more like it hasn't been made real to her yet, right? Like, there's a lot of things in life that are just like, everyone is acting as if it was true, and maybe it is true, but it's not true to me in my psyche yet. I have to see it. So she needs to see Joyce's body in order for it to be real, in the same way that Buffy probably would if the roles were reversed, because Buffy was also acting in this like weird manner where she was just coping and going through the motions before she said the body, and then it sunk in for her. So it hasn't fully sunk in for Dawn yet, which is why she wanted to see the body, and I don't blame her for it. She gets attacked by a vampire in what I assume is, I mean, I don't know, like, are they contractually obligated to show a fight sequence every episode? Is that what's like, that fight sequence with that vampire really felt like it shouldn't be there. It didn't matter whatsoever. Do we just need to pad out like an extra minute or two, and that's the only reason why that was there? Like, again, like, the episode would have been better if that wasn't there, I think. Like, there's no reason for that to have been there. It's not even about like, like, oh, Buffy saved me and now I finally break down crying in front of her and I hug her or something like that. Like, not even that. Dawn just went and looked at Joyce's body, and that could have happened without the vampire showing up and us to like beat him up. Like, there's no reason for that scene to have been there, the fight sequence. And like, I've said this before, like, it feels like this show always has to have some kind of like fight sequence where we just punch our problems and we solve it, or some other type of fight sequence. And I feel like maybe they have some kind of contractual obligations to have a fight sequence or something. I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things where, or maybe they're just not that but like, no, this episode was fucking incredible. Like, I'm not gonna say that they weren't confident in this episode, because I would have been. I think that this episode was fucking fire. I love this episode, and this entire episode hinges on just the characters' feelings and how they're processing it. And we're just, this entire episode didn't really move anything forward. Nothing really happened. We're just dealing with it, which is honestly an incredible fucking choice. For a second at the beginning of the episode, I thought I was gonna spend the entire episode just sitting here with Buffy in her house. I feel like you could have made a fantastic episode with that, but I also think that maybe just like a 11-minute sequence was enough, and then we get another 11-minute sequence with the rest of the cast, and then we get another like 15-minute sequence as a hospital, with like couple extra things in there, and that's it. It's very simple. Nothing really happens. Maybe it would have been harder to just spend the entire episode just in one room. It's better to just move it along like slightly, but it all takes place in the same day. It all takes place like the same thing happening throughout the entire episode, which is something that also blinked into my mind as I was watching. I got reminded to Miss Calendar. Remember Miss Calendar from season 2? I got reminded to her, and I was reminded to her because she's probably the only like loss that we have felt in Buffy, the entire show. The real like loss, the real death that we've had. Miss Calendar was someone that she was kind of cool. She was a recurring character a little bit, and then eventually she started just kind of having this weird pseudo relationship with Giles. Then it started to become more important, and then she just fucking died. And it's great because like Miss Calendar, like she ultimately didn't really matter that much. I almost feel like the reason why she was there was in order to kill her. Like the reason why they turned her into a character like matter a little bit, you know, a recurring supporting cast member, was because they planned to kill her to begin with. I kind of weirdly feel the same way about Kendra. I also feel like Kendra was maybe underutilized a lot, to the point that the impact of her death didn't even like hit for me, because she was like, oh, Kendra came in, like Kendra showed up and we thought she was an antagonist for like an entire episode until at the very end we did a Spider-Man pointing meme. Then the next episode we hang out with Kendra, then she leaves, then she comes back like 10 episodes later, and then she just dies immediately. And it's like, well, I didn't really have a lot of time to just hang out with Kendra in order to feel something. Miss Calendar is like a step above that. She was around and I remember her, but I also feel like Miss Calendar ultimately didn't really do much, and she didn't hang out with us enough in order for her death to feel like it stung, like it really stung. Which is why also I feel like everybody reacting to Miss Calendar dying, I'm not gonna say it was weird, but I'm gonna say that the way they reacted was maybe like, to me it felt like maybe I wouldn't have reacted as hard. I'm being reminded of Buffy on the phone crying. I think she was like crying badly, and I'm like, I don't think she was that close to Miss Calendar. I think they were good, they were acquaintances, but I don't think she was that close. I think that scene is more there in order to show how vicious and obsessive and jealous is, in order to just stalk her while she's in despair. I think that's pretty good. This episode felt like, okay, actually, this is someone that died, and it feels like the weight of someone that died in real life. It feels like that. It feels like the despair of someone who was here is not here anymore. And you just kind of have to deal with that. You just kind of have to deal with life. You just kind of have to deal with those thoughts, those feelings. You don't know where to place them. You don't know what's happening. The way you react is all over the place. Nothing makes sense anymore in this world. And this episode, I felt like it did a fantastic job with that. And if I'm going to compare it to previous deaths in the show, which I guess is Miss Calendar and Kendra, there is no comparison. And like, of course, like this has to be bigger because it's Joyce, it's Buffy's mom. She's been around since the very beginning of the show. I think she's in like the first scene of season 1, episode 1, season 1. Like, I think the first scene is like Buffy and Joyce in the car, maybe? I don't remember, but like, she's one of the very first characters. She's been around since forever. So as a result of that, of course, this has to feel impactful, but I feel like also the way it was handled was so much better, because I feel like this entire episode just dealing with it, and we haven't even finished dealing with it, but this entire episode and what it was, I think it was fucking masterful. I think it was fucking perfect. I love so many of the writing and directorial choices in this episode. The way everyone reacted, man, it was just, it just felt so real. It really did. I love this episode so much. I really do. Oh my god. Okay, that was like a 43 minutes, like almost non-stop discussion on Joyce fucking dying. I don't know what else I can say. I love this episode very much. I think I'm just gonna go. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I think this is it. Like, because again, like nothing really happened in this episode, and yet everything did. And that's why I'm so obsessed with that. Again, I think the best episodes of the show are the episodes where like the basic structure, like the mold of what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is just fully ignored, and we just do something different. We just have a little bit of I don't want to say fun, but a little bit of fun with the way that we tell our story. Restless is a fucking fever dream. Is it? I don't know, but it's one of my favorite episodes in the entire show. Hush, the same. Incredible fucking episode, but that episode also felt more like a normal episode that had to happened to have like a gimmick to it. This episode is an unconventional episode in the sense that it's much more similar to Restless, where Joyce is dead, and now this entire episode is just grieving, and we just get to see the point of view of everyone grieving in the ways that they do, and it's all very human. It's all very, very human, and I love that. I really, really love that. Oh my god, okay. This is definitely one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. For sure. Like, for sure. I don't know if it's top one. It could be. Like, it's a contender. Because I think my favorite episodes are definitely the ones that are unconventional. It's this one, Restless, Hush maybe. The Seppo. The Seppo was good. I like that one. Who Are You? I think that was the episode where Buffy and Faith switch places, but that's more because I love Faith, not necessarily because of the episode. And I think the culmination of Faith's arc that I really love happened in Angel, not in Buffy. So yeah, anyway, this episode it's top 3, maybe top 1 material. I don't know. I don't want to give a power ranking right now. I don't give a shit about it right now. I'm just kind of processing, kind of like the characters. So yeah, I'm just gonna. This is a very depressing reaction, and I don't know how fun to watch this is, because like I'm not reacting in like a sad manner. I'm not like sitting here crying, and I'm not reacting here in a fun manner. I'm making jokes, because how could you in an episode like this? It is just a lot of me just looking at the characters being like, yep, like this makes sense, and then I vocalize what I think is happening inside their heads, and then we just do that for like 40 minutes. I don't know if that is fun to watch. Maybe it is. I don't know. Okay, I think we're just gonna move on. Oh man, like whenever I watch a really good episode of Buffy like this one, I always feel like, man, I just want to watch another. I always feel like, dude, I just want to jump into the next one, but like, no, I just gotta sit here and digest this one. Have to digest it. Like everybody in this episode, I have to sit here and just take it in. Okay, Joyce is dead. Goodbye to her. Goodbye to her actress. God, they put the name of the actress at the beginning of the episode, but because I'm not reading it, I don't remember it. But goodbye to Joyce. That fucking sucks. Like, I wonder how sad would I be if he had been more sudden. Because of course, like Tora said, it's always sudden. It was fucking sudden at the end of the last episode. You had a reaction to that. I reacted to that. I threw my headset and almost broke it. I'm glad I didn't, because then I would have to start begging for money to buy a new pair. But like, I felt like I already accepted that Joyce was gonna die like 10 episodes ago, and now that it happened, like I didn't feel sadness. I just felt this like dread in me. Like I just felt like shit the entire episode. I wasn't reacting in a very expressive or explosive manner. I was just sitting here like, yeah, I hate my life. That's sad. I keep saying I'm gonna end the video. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. See you guys next time. Okay. Bye. I guess. Bye. But if you would like to watch the next couple episodes of Buffy full-length reactions, Angel watch alongs, also cool stuff, go check out the Patreon, link in the description below, pop up on screen. Support the channel, more importantly. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Take care, everybody.